the introduction of revered Ma Sadhviji, born as V.N. Padmini or Padmini Natarajan. Revered Ma Sadhviji is a rare, deeply inward sage, imbued with a great love of heart and the silence and peace which lie behind the universe. Her journey from Padmini to the profound sage that she is began in early infancy. It is a journey of deep ardor and search for truth. En route this journey, she served the Ramakrishna Vivekananda movement through her eloquent knowledge and inspiration for 13 years. Later on, she took to pursuing life of quietness. Prior to renouncing home, she was a student of PhD at the prestigious Tasta Institute, Bangalore. Her abidance in Almighty and inner attunement keep her in serene solitude, away from the world, in meditative silence. Her Buddha-like character elevates people in their own spheres. Along with it, her in-depth concentration on the deeper yet unfathomed questions of science, Vedas, Upanishads, and human mind bring astounding answers that are at once revolutionary and uplifting. These can be greatly beneficial to humanity. Totally unostentatious in nature, she remains a child of sages amidst the turbulent waters of life. We are very happy that revered Ma Sadhviji is with us to share her experience and wisdom. She will be addressing us on the theme Sunshine State. Now I request revered Sadhviji to address all of us. Welcome, Sadhviji, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for the D'Souza. Let me begin with a few words on silence itself. I'm into that state of silence where it is tough to come out as an individual or as a person. It's like taking on a extra garment. But my inclination towards love of people, or people's love towards my humble being, has caught me today to come here before you. A girl named Thanh Thuy, a Vietnamese small girl who lives with the Vietnamese holy soul, Thich Nhat Hanh. This girl, one day, as she went to pray with other girls of her age, when she returned from her play, they wanted something to drink, and Han gives them apple juice. He serves the others first, and the last glass is given to Thanh Thuy. And Thanh Thuy finds the apple juice quite turbid because that was the last part, and she keeps it back on the table. I don't want it now, and she goes away. After about an hour, she returns because she's thirsty now. And she asks for some water. And Han says, your apple juice is still there on the table. Why don't you have that? And Thanh Thuy looks at the glass. Now it's all well settled. The turbidity has settled and the juice is clear. She takes it up to drink happily. And she tells Han, Uncle Monk, was the juice meditating like you? The girls, seeing that the turbidity settles down and clarity comes up, turbidity goes down, leaving clarity behind. This is a simple simile to sunshine state of being. This state is available to everyone, for it is within everyone. This state, the sunshine state, is not just something that is bright. We have to clear three aspects before we proceed further about the state. The first aspect is, when we speak of sunshine state as clarity and tranquility of being and turbidity having settled down, do we mean to say it is a sort of inertia or inertness? Are inertia and effort against each other in this state? The answer is no. Let us understand that the sunshine state, as we call it, the tranquility of being, about which we will see further, is neither inertia, nor the absence of effort, not even a no energy state. We have to understand this state of being is absolutely full of energy along with an absolute peace. This brings us to a second aspect. That is, human beings have separated words, like spirituality, worldliness, and so on. But let me tell you, spirituality very simply means being with the spirit. And each one is with his or her own spirit. Each creature is with spirit and in spirit. Look at nature, look at the sky, look at the stars, look at the plants, the trees, the birds, the animals, the insects, multitudinal insects, varieties. All of them. Watch a squirrel, how it is in its own inner spirit. Each creature, each element in nature is in this state of being, in its own inner state of being. It's only the human beings who have moved away from this state, almost in an unnatural manner. And thus having created the word spirituality. But let me remind you here very gently that spirituality is nothing different from you, nothing away from you, nothing very special, unique, strange. It is very much with you, in you all the while. We come to a third aspect when we speak of this state of being in a sunshine state, being equated to tranquility and an absolute inner glow. The third aspect is a dilemma of accepting pain, evil, and other things. When we look at the world, there are any number of pains you can see all around. Any kind of evil being meted out by human beings to other human beings. Perhaps, very sadly, the race which prides itself as the crown of evolution is the race which meets out the worst kind of violence on its own fellow human beings. Now, a dilemma does arise about accepting this state of pain. How do we reconcile these pains, evils, hurts, violences, and so on from a tiny scale within a family to the mega scale in which it happens around in the world. How do we match these two? How do we accept? How do we absorb these things into the sunshine state? This absorption is itself a part of that state of being. Evil is really not evil when you look at it, look into it in its own eye. Why does somebody commit evil? Why is somebody violent? Why is there pain? It's because of lack of understanding, and it's because of ignorance. Swami Vivekananda, when he was in Cairo with some of his disciples, they were walking along a street. They were taking a walk, and they happened to come to a ill-famed street. That is, a street of prostitution. And looking at the people over there, Swamiji's companions tried to take him away from there. But by then, he looks at them and he's standing still with deep compassion in his eyes. And he utters, "Oh, my daughters, you have forgotten your souls and you think of yourselves only as mere bodies. Oh, my daughters, peace be with you." He utters these words in full compassion, standing there tearful. And the others with him also are dumb for a moment. Then slowly they walk away. This is true. Any person who is committing heinous crimes and violences, and any person who is going astray from what is called the right path, any person who is drowned in these things of evil propensities, basically is completely ignorant of his or her truth, the truth within a being. This brings me to the question. I am asking you this question. Think within yourselves deeply about this question. Is man only a doer? Is man only an enjoyer? I repeat, is man only a doer? Is man only an enjoyer? In Sanskrit, the words are bhoktra for doer, and abhoktra for enjoyer, and kartra for doer. So, the question is man only a doer? Is man only an enjoyer? Think into this question. Take this question right within you. I repeat once again, is man only a doer? Is man only an enjoyer? Are you not being done for? Are you not being enjoyed away? Instead of you are doing anything, instead of you are enjoying? Some lessons from recent happenings of the worldwide viral pandemic. Some country gave permission for its citizens to have all kinds of wild meat. Some people got some infection, and the organism causing it was genetically engineered, and something that came out resulted in this pandemic. Just by contact, be with the person and it catches you on, and by now, crowds have been killed. Well, philosophically, Earth has its own way of settling its populational accounts. Whenever there is lots of population, multitudes die out. This has been happening upon earth from time immemorial. That is one side. But look at it squarely. Now, during this pandemic, at the onset of it, countries started locking themselves down. India was the first, thanks to its sane thinkers, thinking leaders. And during this time of lockdown, this time of being totally doing nothing, being unable to do anything at all. Now, if you didn't have the communication world, the telecommunication world, the digital world, what would you do? Where would you have been? Ask this question. If there was no digital world to support you in this time of no doing nothing, meeting no one, virtually enjoying nothing outside of your home, and if you didn't have the digital accessories and things like television, radio, etc., what would you do? People tell me half the population goes mad, ma. People have gone into severe depressions and so on and so forth. So I come back to the question, is man only a doer, only an enjoyer? Isn't there something more to human beings? Shouldn't that be searched for? Shouldn't that be looked out for? We have in physics the concept of black hole. And do you know what a black hole is? A black hole is a celestial body, a star. When it grows in gravity, it becomes so massive that it can't send its light out. What happens is this, as Einstein had found out in his general theory of relativity, that space also gets curved by the mass which is moving in it. So what happens as a star becomes very bulky, very heavy, because of extremely heavy elements being formed in the star. When it becomes very heavy, highly gravitated, the space around the star gets curved so much so that the light rays from the stars cannot come out, cannot go out. And once there are no light rays coming out, the star is called a black hole. You can't see it, it doesn't shine. It simply doesn't make itself open to send out its light. Exactly in the similar manner, exactly on the same lines, human mind has also moving towards becoming black hole. Human beings whose minds are exceedingly gross, becoming gross with outside elements only, when the human mind becomes tuned and dependent to external elements, external things, external amenities, it starts growing gross. This dependency on its own doing and enjoying, this dependency on being an enjoyer only, this bhoktritva makes the human mind by and by more and more gross, more and more gravitated. And that is when the mind becomes a black hole. The black hole of the mind does not allow light to come out, light to shine out. And that is when human minds gets into lots of what the psychiatrists call as psychological diseases, psychosis. This dependency on external things has to somewhere come down. These recent happenings have also revealed three wonderful aspects of human nature. On one side is the tremendous positivity. Much has been done. Many people have gone out of their way to feed others. Many have given medicines to others. People have thanked these day-to-day workers, realizing how the life is dependent on them. And much more. Governments have, particularly Indian government, has come out with lots of help to people. So many positive things have come out, and people have innovatively thought of many things. On one hand, where economy is crumbling, on the other, new versions of earnings are also coming out. So all these stuff of positive energy of human beings and human mind is coming out. But there is the negative side also, another very vivid aspect of human beings and human nature. The amount of government money that has come out, much of it has really not reached the right people and has been gobbled up by in the middle persons. And people have tried to take advantage of the situations in making money for themselves, using the misery of others. So such negative aspects have also come out. And people have also neglected certain cares and thus got infected. So these things have also happened. The third is the deeper aspect. People here and there at least have begun to think, what is all this? What is the value of money and earnings, status, and so many things that we have accumulated? What has our externalization of life has finally given us? What has bhoga and bhoktritva? What have bhoga and bhoktritva finally given us, to put it in Sanskrit? That is, what have enjoyment and enjoying have really given us? Have they not taken away from our own inner being? I mean human beings. Human beings cannot live on external things alone. Human beings cannot really find peace with words or feelings alone. There is something more, something behind, and that is the sunshine state. That is, returning to the sunshine state of your being. That is, to learn to be with oneself. I repeat this 5 times, this sentence, so that it gets registered, at least for today. To learn to be with oneself. 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 Yes, human beings need to learn to be with themselves. A grown-up girl, who often wants to visit me, though I tend to say no. Once I asked her, why is it that you want to come to see me? And she plainly said, Ma, honestly, to get away from myself. Most people do that only. They can't be with themselves. So they try to get out to some place where they feel they can be totally out of them, out of their, whatever it is, their burden or whatever it is. But truly speaking, an external dependency or any external person, external being, how long can that be available? If, like Corona, which has affected physically and physiologically, you hear of the digital viruses also. So if something affects the digital world, what are human beings going to do? I think it's a hard time for human beings to redefine their life values, to redefine themselves as well, and to redefine the human race on the whole. We need to learn that the real sun that shines outside, giving us warmth, giving us food, making our day, and through whose light and energy we work, the same sun shines within also. The same sun shines within also. You have all heard it. Andhe jahan ke andhe raste, jaye to jaye kahan, isn't it? But let me tell you, the world is andha jahan, blind world, only when you cling to your private emotions and feelings, and only to your world of internal external interactions, your mind's emotional interactions with the world, and then you say andhe jahan ke andhe raste, because that's how it appears. It appears blind, it appears black. But let me tell you something different. Listen to it with care. रोशन जहां के रोशन है रास्ते, हम चले चले हाँ। रोशन जहां के रोशन है रास्ते, हम चले चले हाँ। दुनिया तो दुनिया, हम उससे ऊपर यूं चले चले हाँ। रोशन जहां के रोशन है रास्ते, हम चले चले हाँ। आवाज के बिन यहाँ अंदाज नहीं रख रहा, समझ सको गर इसे तो झूम उठे आत्मा, समझ सको अगर इसे तो झूम उठे आसमां। दुनिया तो दुनिया, हम उससे ऊपर यूं चले चले हाँ। Forgive me, my throat is not with me today. I have kept some long, etc., but I just forgot to put it in the mouth. So, रोशन जहाँ के रोशन है रास्ते, हम चलते हैं इसमें रोशनी में. The point is, this world is full of light if you look at it with the eye of light. And in that, you walk with light, you radiate light. And that is what is not becoming a black hole and remaining a star that shines. And दुनिया तो दुनिया, हम उससे ऊपर यूं चले चले. You can walk above the world. And आवाज के बिन यहाँ, this is important, अंदाज निर्ख रहा. Without even your speaking, without even your uttering a word, beautifully things have been arranged here. Yes, I thank Mr. Jankiram for his reciting of the Quran prayer, which speaks of God's grace, mercy, and bounty. Yes, that is true. That is very, very true. If only you could stand a little aside from doing and enjoying and let things being done. And then you see what bliss and joy you get. Jumute Atma, your soul will dance in joy. And Jumute Asama, I put it as Asama also because the sky will dance with you. Meaning to say, when there is the attitude of light, when you develop that state within yourself, when you learn to be with yourself, when you just turn a little inside, please understand, my body may be in jitters. My whole physiology, my whole anatomy may be giving any kind of trouble. My mind may be not with me. My mind, my emotions, my feelings may be being pounded with from all sides, with many kinds of things. I may be occultly dealt with and harassed and pulled helter-skelter. But amidst all this, I can watch it. I can watch it with the eye of light. Dr. Frankl, a Jew, a German Jew who was caught in the Nazi camp. Many, many, many people in the Nazi camps died. He saw it. His own family members were killed before his eyes. And on a terribly cold night, he was made stark naked. And there was a small wedding ring on his finger. A soldier snatches that also. And they jeer at him. They make fun of him. They beat him, bully him, and all that. In that moment, Dr. Frankl thinks to himself, well, you may do anything to my body. You may torture me to death ultimately. That is all you can do. But my mind you can never touch. My mind is my own realm. Here, Dr. Frankl uses the word mind. Beyond mind also. Even if the mind is cranky, you can control it. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi, says the Kathopanishad. Your intellect, your awareness can be like the charioteer holding the reins of the mind in your hands. So, basically, this turning and learning to be with oneself, what does it really mean? Let me tell you. It's a very, very, very simple thing to understand. Are you only your body? When you're hungry, you want to feed it with food. But once the hunger is appeased and the body is considerably in good condition, you don't remember your body. Or when you are engaged in some work, you don't remember your body. When you are asleep, you of course do not remember your body, not even your name and identity. When you have an emotional hunger, you want it to be fed by and fed with other people whom you love, with whom you have a bond of affection, and so on. You care for them, they care for you. But once again, when you are asleep, you forget all these things. You are beyond these things. Or when you are engaged in something, even these things fall off. Likewise, intellectual quest takes you to people of knowledge, books of knowledge, or today, Google, etc. But that again, once it's appeased, you forget those things, isn't it not? But there is something which gives you deep rest when you go to sleep. The sages of ancient days, they deeply looked into this phenomenon of sleep. There's a lot of research going on in the world around, and there are sleep clinics as well to treat mal-sleeping habits. And they are trying to decipher and understand the importance of sleep and why do we sleep at all and so on. But long, long ago, sages had worked on the phenomenon of sleep and had found wonderfully the truth of sleep. Sata saumya, sada sampanno bhavati. When a man sleeps, yatraitat purushah swapiti nama, sata saumya tada sampanno bhavati. When a man sleeps, where is he? He dwells in his own self, in the self that pervades the whole universe. That is what Tantui meant when she said all the turbulent, turbid aspects of the juice have settled down, and the light, clear juice is prevalent in the glass, which she could drink happily. She called that a meditative state. She asked, "Monk uncle, was the juice meditating like you?" She understands that that state brings peace. Being with oneself brings peace. And when you are completely in that clarity, the turbidity automatically goes down, settles down of its own. And here anyone may question me, Kima, we can't meditate. We have no time to meditate. And some people say, I have tried meditation a number of times. I wish to tell you one thing. The more you do away with words, the better you will be. Say you are in the kitchen. Say you are making a favorite dish for the family. Will you not be in 100% total concentration? Is that not equivalent to what is called meditation? Being an absorbed state, but here the concentration may be on something exterior. And in meditation, it's being with oneself. Simply being with your breathing, simply being with your own self. That is basically the key to unlock that Roshan Jahan within you, the unlock the sunshine that is within you, the state of pure sunshine. And why is it called sunshine state? City dwellers, when you wake up in the morning, do you go out to look at the sun? Perhaps not. Perhaps you have forgotten that morning means sunrise. For most people, morning means something else, isn't it? But please remember, morning means sunrise. And sunrise means so many things. So many things. So many things. ज्योत कलश छलके ज्योत कलश छलके हुए गुलाबी लाल सुनहले रंग दल बादल के ज्योत कलश छलके उषा ने आंचल फैलाया फैली जग में ज्योत की काया मंगल घट छलके मंगल घट छलके ज्योत कलश छलके. Every morning brings that kalash of jyot, the pot of light, and it spreads that live energy all around. And that live energy, when it fills you, that is why the Surya Namaskar, etc. was discovered and was inculcated in practice to completely invigorate, rejuvenate the whole system. And prana, which is connected to sun and sunrise, sunrise and sunset, these are the times when the soul joins the oversoul. And this is the connection which gives you or takes you to this state of being available to yourself, being in your own state of sunshine. I conclude with a small example from Tibet. You know the Chinese occupation of Tibet. The Chinese decided to take into custody, take into imprisonment, an aged abbot of a monastery in Kham district of Tibet. He was an aged abbot, and the Chinese soldiers attacked the monastery, held the elderly abbot, bound him, put him on a mangry horse, a really almost dying kind of a horse, so that he gets maximum sufferance during the journey to wherever they were taking him. And the other monks were also taken into custody, and the journey began. The other monks were weeping, but the abbot, the elderly abbot on that horse, who was bound head to foot, he started singing. He started singing what are called songs of realization, like these songs of light, where he feels, when he feels that he is one with the total nature of mind, the pure nature of mind. And he then, as he is singing and going on. The other monks start crying. They silently cry. The Chinese soldiers who do not understand these songs, they are walking in stony silence. And just before, not much before they reach the gates of their prison, not before they reach the gate, they find the abbot is dead. He has silently given up his body. They realize this later when they try to alight him. He did not die of any torture. He did not get into fear of the future torture. He rather dwelt on the peace that he had found in himself. This is possible. This is possible. In joy or in sorrow, one can be with oneself. Joy is equally a state which gives you an opportunity. You see a child smiling. You see happy laughter and you feel enriched. I tell you, when India was playing the World Cup cricket some years ago and India won the World Cup, at that time I was staying in an apartment place. One of my spiritual sons had made arrangement for the stay there. And around 12 o'clock at midnight, there was uproar and laughter, and it just pulled me out. And when I came out, I saw every face happy. Everyone was happy, and they were so happy to see me. Ma, ab bhi aa gaye. Everybody's face was beaming with a supreme, unexplainable joy. And in that joyous state, I felt the same, what's called samadhi, ananda samadhi, that supreme joy and bliss. So whether in joy or in sorrow, this state constantly is within you, abides with you. You only need to tap it. Everyone knows the states of joy. Everyone knows the states of sorrow. But would that everyone know the sunshine state as well is my earnest humblest prayer for humanity. Thank you, one and all. And I now am available for any questions if you have questions. And I request, while you address your questions to me, you can call me Ma or Mother or Sadhviji. That is, you need not call me Madam, etc. So now, if you have any questions, we are open to that. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadhviji, for this inspirational talk that you have given. Just to highlight a few things that you have spoken, Sunshine State is available to everyone. It is full of energy. And you have mentioned very firmly that spirituality is part of every creature. And only human being has unfortunately moved away from that spirituality. And also you spoke about the dilemma of accepting the pain, and evil takes place primarily because of ignorance. And a very pertinent question that you have asked is human or man only a doer or an enjoyer? And that will answer many of our questions. So our enjoyment has taken away our spirit, and you have emphasized very firmly that to learn to be with oneself, and that is more important. And sunshine is both, as it is outside, it is equally inside of us. Therefore, each one of us can face life with that light. And you have also given us how to meditate. Meditate not with words. Perhaps the next meditation comes without many words. So thank you very much for all the insights and many other things that you have explained us during this talk. Now it is open for questions. There are a few questions already in the chat box. And you can still post your questions on the chat box, or you can ask directly the questions. You can raise your hand. The first question, Sadhviji, is about is about a black hole. All the stars have got black hole. You have also brought in the element of science. Can you explain a little more about the black hole?
Black hole, as I explained, is a star getting closed down, which means a star doesn't break up, but what happens is the star becomes very heavy. As you know, within a star, there are many kinds of nuclear fission fusion reactions. Fission means break of nucleus and break of the atoms. And the second is, I said, fusion, that is joining. Atoms join together to form new atoms. So both these processes continually go on in stars, and they are the source of light and energy of the stars. Like, for instance, you all must be aware that the sun as a star is a ball of helium. The hydrogen getting fused into helium. This is the process which is giving the sunlight. So likewise, in stars, there are many, many more such actions and reactions constantly occurring. And in the process, as the product of these processes, when the stars become bulky, heavy in mass, that time what happens is, because of that bulk of mass, the force of gravity increases. As you know, any solid body has gravity, force of gravity. So because of these things, what happens when the gravity increases, the space around the star gets curved. This was a finding by Einstein. Okay? Whenever there is a bulk, mass, gravity in excess, the space around that body becomes curved. It becomes so curved that the light from that star now cannot reach out because there is no straight path for the light to travel. The space gets curved. These are the words for it. You have to imagine a curved space. On Earth, you cannot imagine a curved space, but you can imagine something like, now I am speaking, and suppose I put my hand like this upon my face in a curved fashion or even in a straight fashion. Whenever I cover, you won't be able to see my face. So that curved space means something like a cover around the star, because of which the light doesn't move out. And that is why when there is no light coming out of the star, it is called a black hole. I think that's clear.
Yeah, thank you very much. Another question is, you have emphasized very much to learn to be with oneself. One question is, what about going for counseling or for guidance? Is that applicable at all? Or
Definitely. Whenever you need help, you can certainly go for counseling and seeking help. And there are any number of counselors who are genuinely helping people in these matters.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, normally we are told to be inward looking, you have to manage, you have to be happy within yourself. And what happens to the social responsibility outside? There is a lot of problem.
Yes, Father, yes.
Difficulties, problems continue, but the onus is put on the self to manage with it. Is it against a kind of fight for social justice? That is the question.
No, not at all, Father. This is what I meant when I spoke of the three aspects, and where I said inertia and effort. And when I said that the state is not against, it is neither inertia nor not doing anything. That is, we need to be involved in the society. People around us, when they are in pain, when they are in trouble, we can't close our eyes. I tell you a brief example from Buddha's life. In Buddha's Sangha, a monk was sick. And Buddha had designed it, he had formulated a sort of a timetable by turn for every other person to look after that sick brother. And Buddha himself had allotted a time for himself. That is, he also participated in this. So one day, as Buddha finished his duty of attending to the sick person and was returning, he saw a brother monk sitting there. And he had not seen this person near the sick man. So Buddha stops there and asks him, Bhante, I didn't see you near the sick person. Have you not been there to serve? And this person answers, Tathagata, you have yourself emphasized on meditation, and I mean to achieve it by all means, so I'm concentrating on it. And Buddha replies, Bhante, when your brother is sick and ill, your first duty and first act of meditation is to attend to that brother. I think this example is very clear about the social responsibilities. At the same time, what one needs to remember is, in the name of social responsibility, one cannot extrapolate oneself to any overture, because society has been, is, and will always be into a course of troubles, because as long as human beings or any being is into a lot of pain. I remember one of my professors, Professor Vijay in Indore University, had told once beautifully, do you know, progress means when doctors become jobless. I have remembered his words. Progress means when doctors become jobless. That means when pain is alleviated from society, that's what is progress. But somehow, unfortunately, that doesn't happen. It's in the nature of the universe that troubles keep coming. So when we are attending to troubles, when we are addressing the social responsibilities, when we are trying to alleviate people's pains, troubles, problems, and all those things, it needs to be remembered that we need to stay within ourselves, get our strength within, and then move into the society, just like Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was a beautiful example of service and prayer combined together. Perhaps there won't be many who prayed as she did. Equally, there won't be many who served as she did. I think with this, I am clear about the question. The answer is clear about the question. Am I?
Yeah, thank you, thank you. The one more question is, there is a lot of hate culture today.
Yes.
And all in the name of religion, all in the name of caste.
Yes.
What kind of spirituality we need to have at this time, especially how can we promote the culture of good and culture of light, or perhaps sunshine? That is the question.
There is only one antidote to hatred, and that is love. From yours, that each one, from himself and herself, each one can radiate love. Each one can try to reduce these feelings of hatred at his or her personal level. And each one's effort is, do you remember? The tiny drops make the ocean. Likewise, each one's effort cumulatively can transform the society and the hatred. This hatred has been on earth from time immemorial. And from time immemorial, it's being taught. As Jesus said, if somebody hits on one cheek, give him your other cheek. What did he mean by these words? He meant, give love where there is hatred. Don't return hatred for hatred. The same thing Buddha said. Don't return dvesha for dvesha. Prema alone can wash dvesha. So, the development of love alone is the antidote to get beyond hatred to the state of inner light and being.
Thank you. The questions in the chat box or questions sent privately are over. Anybody else in the group wants to ask any question directly? I believe Sadhviji has made herself very, very clear. Someone is asking Sadhviji, how do we reach Sadhviji? Or perhaps I don't know whether he's meet you, I don't know.
What do they mean by reaching?
I have no idea. Manoj is asking, I don't know.
Where from? Where is Manoj from? Where from he is asking?
Bangalore. No. Like, where are you? Where do you stay? What you ask? You are belong to any ashram or something?
No. I am a child of the universe.
Okay.
And I live in my solitude.
Okay.
And if you need to approach, you can have a WhatsApp number, which is with Mr. Prakash.
Okay.
And you can send a WhatsApp and I will reply.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
The answer, Amma, can you hear me? Amma? This is Kausar.
Okay.
The answer to Manoj's question is within the talk which you had today, which you gave us today. Shine is within ourselves. Amma is there everywhere.
Yes.
Right? We don't have to come and feel you and touch you physically.
Yes.
Think of Amma and she's there.
I thank you, Kausar. That is true. That's very, very true. That's very, very true. That's very true, because I am not a being. I am a part of you.
Yes, Ma. Thank you. This is a message to everyone.
Yes, to everyone.
Present,
Everyone.
who's present in the meeting today.
I mean everyone. I mean everyone. My soul is very much one with each and everyone.
Ma, I have a question.
Yes?
Yes, go ahead, Ashok. I think. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Ma, I have a small question.
Huh?
Meditation per se, is it a state of thoughtlessness or is it a state of being with the God at some point in your attainment of the samadhi, as you call it?
Basically, the word meditation means to be swastha, to stay in your being. Now, being thoughtless or having the vision or a form of God manifest and being absorbed in concentration upon that are all procedures. Basically, they are procedures. They are procedures to reach to the truth that you are. And the truth you are is plainly this, that it can be expressed only in negative terms. To find samadhi, I'm coming to that. It is neither inside nor outside. It is neither far nor near. Tade jati tanne jati taddure tadvantike tadantarasya sarvasya tadu sarvasya asya bahyatah. That which is very much near you, as well as far away from you too. That which dwells within you and dwells in everything that is everywhere. That which can be had and that which can not be had also. So, what does this mean? Let me concentrate with me as I tell these words. Simply, in imagination, move out of your body. You are not you. You are not Ashok Vidasarya. And I mean to others also, whoever is listening. Just mentally, with deep concentration, your I-ness is not in your body. Try to be out of it and watch your body. Try to feel that you're watching your body. And slowly move out of your city. Your conscious of I-ness is out of your city. That is, you're watching your whole city in your mental imagination. Then you move out, conscious. Your conscious is now watching your country. Slowly, slowly take your conscious beyond the earth. What I mean to say is, as your imagination moves from an entityhood towards the larger and still much larger grasp of your feeling, you come to understand one thing for sure, that there is existence. You can call it only existence, a pure existence. And this pure existence itself is what you call God. And feeling that pure existence without interruption of thoughts is what you call as thoughtlessness. But basically, either the word thoughtlessness or the word vision or beholding of God are words. Through them, as I said in the beginning, through them you reach to this what is called samadhi. The word samadhi means samadhi. Your dhi, arthat, your buddhi, your awareness. Buddhi doesn't mean only intelligence. Buddhi means awareness. The conscious awareness becomes totally equanimous on the outside. And on the inside, it is totally light, complete light. It's a state of experience. You move towards it through your selfless action, through your prayer, through your worship, through your meditation, through mending your mind. That is, minding your mind and putting it back on the track from things which are really not required. All these are processes which take you towards it. But the state itself, it becomes known by itself. Words can only point out to it. Like I can say, sugar is sweet, but you will not understand till you put it on your tongue, right? Likewise, this is through the process you reach to the state. One simplest and nearest example or near understanding, near to it understanding is when you get into sleep and when you wake up. If you can possibly understand how you go into sleep and when you get into sleep, if you can possibly understand that state, that is a state of existence merging. And when you wake up, before you come to the awareness of yourself, there is a split gap, a small gap, where you are simply awareness. You are in an awareness. So these two states can be like a window to the state of samadhi, light, or whatever you call it. But this, it may appear as far-fetched, while the practice process, if you want to call it that way, or the process, the path itself, at each step, as Kausar said, she said about me that think of Amma and she'll be there. I turn it to this, that think of light and it is there. I think I'm clear, Ashok.
Yeah. Got it.
Thank you very much. I believe questions are over. I think somebody's asked what is samadhi. I believe that question is also answered. So with this, we will wind up today's session. Thank you, Ma Sadhviji, for this inspirational talk, and very patiently answering all the questions and perhaps understanding people had and expression that carve sunshine.
Father,
Yes.
Father, 1 second.
Yeah.
Somebody has sent a question here. Sun shines in the day. What about night? Mr. Mahadev has sent this question.
Okay, yes. Moonshine is also same. Okay.
And somebody has answered moonshine. But what about Amavasya, somebody may ask, the new moon day? The point is, this question was raised in the Upanishads. When sun is not there, what is the light? When this is not there, what is the light? When this is not there, what is the light? Briefly, because the time is also moving up. So I answer this very briefly, that when the sun is not there, the fire, or the moon at night, becomes the light. When fire is not there, the sound becomes the light. When sound is not there, touch becomes the light. And when touch is not there, the self becomes the light. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much for that. So thank you once again for your inspiration, for your wisdom that you have shared with us, and especially you have invited us to be always in the sunshine state that is very much within, and our spirituality should enable us to realize that in our life, and I think that itself is spirituality. So on behalf of the group, all the participants, the IRHM team at Ashirwad, I would like to thank you profusely for taking this time out and joining us, and especially giving us this insight this evening. Ma Sadhviji, thank you very much.